Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and today I'll be playing Arata Satomi, your local real kind thief boy. And today I am joined by the wonderful, the lovely.
Ah! Hello, I am Winona. I am gonna be playing my little scrawny wizard Scribble Scrambles today. And also his little son Scratch.
Alright, and Scribbles, today is a pretty interesting day. It's been a little bit since since the last time you've seen sorry, I just read the nuts and bolts gallery.
Yeah, no, you're
uh
fine.
the magic dad and the thief senpai. Anyway. um Today's an interesting day. It's been a hot minute since the last time you've like met the professor. um
Mhm.
uh but you did catch up with him during what was it,
The
of
parents, yes.
fellowship of the parents. uh and some things happened. I
Yeah.
wasn't there for the entirety of it, but
Mhm.
boy.
Yeah.
So, you have decided to drop by to visit someone, specifically someone you met during the Ghost of Epsilon,
Mhm.
because Arata has given you the name and address of the inn he is currently working at and staying in.
Mhm.
The last one in. So, how are you doing?
I say he's a little bit nervous about this. It's just like he was really sort of debating whether to do this or not, but he was just like he's not gonna tell everything, and he's probably this is something like, hey, this is probably should be known just in case if something happened like that again, just to keep an eye on the professor for at least a little bit before the coast is clear.
Yeah. That's fine. So you're coming by the last one in, and uh as you approach it, you realize that this area of Toontown is not exactly like shabby. It's not run down in any like meaning of the term.
Mhm.
It's just more back alley and out of the way. Like you would not normally come across this unless you were doing a little bit of exploring yourself.
Mhm.
Um, the last one in is a very small building, um, and the sign is flipped to open. And as you approach, there is the smell of, well, curry.
Nice. Gotta love cooking. And
Yeah.
he goes in. He's not very sure if he'll find a Rada or not because it's just like they're working there. But at the same time, I mean, he'll at least go in to get some food.
Yeah. And as you walk in, do you want to roll a quick perception? I'll give you something quick.
Yep. Let's see perception. Come on, I can type. Ooh,
All
nice,
right.
18.
Yeah. Ooh, excuse me. Uh, but yeah. You enter the last one in, and as the outside suggests, it is pretty small inside as well. You are in the front area. Um, it's kind of like a waiting room, lobby ish area.
Mhm.
There is a desk where someone, a worn fox tune, is like flipping through a book and making sure that like it's the sign-in sheet of like
Mhm.
keeping track of like all the tenants and whatnot. Tenants is
Mhm.
probably not the right word, but um, there is like a few like little like armchairs and whatnot to like sit at, um, and there is a rack that has I say a rack, but like a stand,
Mhm.
that has local newspapers and a few brochures that has a map of Toontown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there is a staircase that leads upwards, and that's where you assume the room for the inn, the rooms where people can stay in are. Um, but there is no door. It's just like a small like partition that you can just walk through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that leads into the restaurant area. Um, you see that there are some booths all on the right, and in the middle of the restaurant there are some pretty small tables with like one or two chairs each. And there is no separate kitchen. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the counter slash bar, you could say,
Mm-hmm.
with a couple of stools, and behind that you can see like actual kitchen supplies and like uh ovens and stoves.
Yeah, yeah.
Um and with an 18, you do notice that this is in fact where the smell of curry is coming from. There is also the lingering scent of coffee.
Nice.
Um and with your 18, you also see that a cat, a very familiar cat, is currently sleeping at the far end of the counter. And behind it, there is a familiar, real kind young man who is keeping an eye on a pot that is on the stove.
Okay, Scratch needs to make a wisdom saving throw really quickly. Because Scratch is on Scribbles' shoulder and they see the cat. Nope! Yep, as Scribbles starts walking over there, Scratch is beelining it towards Genie. And though both of them can't currently hear Scratch right now, Scratch is going like Genie, 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 and go right up to Genie and like they make sure Genie notices them before they start petting, but they want to pet the cat. They want to pet the kitty.
There's probably like a soft before Genie just like leaning. Genie lifts his head to see Scratch, and it just kind of like, oh, it's you, and just kind of like lowers his head back down, just kind of like chilling, not going back to sleep, but he'll accept the pets.
Yes, say now Genie hears like, "Hi Genie, it's been a little bit." And say, "Have you been doing well? Ooh, your fur is really soft." And say, "Did you take a bath recently?" And say, "I hope you've been doing good."
You said the telepathy doesn't like
No, no,
work
it's
the
not
other
what.
way around.
No, no, unfortunately.
Yeah, too bad. But yeah. Uh, every so often Genie does like meow back at Scratch, but there is no you do not understand what this cat is saying. But at the like meowing Genie is making, Arata turns to look over his shoulder and
Mhm.
he goes, "Oh, Scribbles. Nice to see you."
Nice to see you too. What you cooking?
Curry. You want some?
Yeah, I'll have a plate.
Awesome. And he's going to like start prepping a plate for you. Um, and as he's moving around, getting like everything for you, he says, "Do you want something to drink? Coffee, tea?
I'll take a coffee, please.
All right.
You been doing well?
Yeah, just fine. A couple of things been happening here and there, but
I see.
been pretty chill."
That's good to hear, at least. For the most part, let's say things have been really chill. There's definitely something I want to talk about with you, but I can wait until after curry.
I mean, you're free to talk whenever you want. I just, you know, better on a better when you're full.
I mean, you're not wrong at all.
And sure enough, he gives you a plate of curry. Let me roll something to see. Um, yeah, that's about what I thought. Uh, oh God, I just remembered.
What?
His sleight of hand is a 14 now.
Dang. Dang.
So, you just get this really amazing plate of curry, um, placed in front of you. Are you sitting at the counter?
Yeah, he's sitting up at the counter.
Cool. Um, and he sets that down in front of you, and then he's gonna quickly get you a cup of coffee. Um, he probably asks you how exactly you want it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he just says a little bit of milk. That's about it.
yeah, yeah, and he gets that for you too. Um, and he also gets himself a plate and a cup, and sits down in front of you.
It smells really good. I could smell it when I was coming in.
Yeah, it's a family recipe.
Oh, nice. And he just takes a bite of it. How spicy is this curry? I have to
Uh,
ask.
um, oh shoot, he didn't ask beforehand, so it's probably not as spicy as it could be.
Which is fair.
But you're free to roll a con.
No, here's the thing. If it was extremely spicy, he probably had to roll a con. But if it's just not that spicy, it's a he handles spicy foods.
Okay, okay. But like, yeah, it's really good. Um, there is a perfect blend of the ingredients and the spices used, so
Mhm.
that's probably like why it's not as spicy as it could be.
Mhm.
Just means you get to enjoy it more.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, hmm. Yeah. Dec- you say definitely. It's really, really good.
It's the best curry in Yedo.
Yeto?
Yeah, the country. Uh, that's where I'm from.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of Yeto, but I don't know much about it.
Erotic just kind of shrugs. I mean, it's a pretty small island country. Um, it's been, I don't know, like I guess you could say it's nice. Um, you know, I just came here for a little bit.
I see. Yeah. Do you have family back in Yeto, or did some of them move over here?
Oh no. My family's all back in Yedo.
Ah, I see.
I've got um a dad and a little sister.
Oh, I have a younger sister also. And my mother and father. They live in University City in UPA.
Oh, oh, all right, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You can roll a small insight on that if you want.
Yeah, here we go. Why are you rolling so high? That was a 19 on the dice.
God. Yeah, you can tell he's definitely being casual about it. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, we talk about family and stuff. It's normal. But you could tell there's a slight undertone. It's like, yeah, let's just drop it there for right now.
Mhm. But yeah, they're not here in Einquell with me. I've just been chilling here for the better part of 2 years now. Part of like a I guess you could say study abroad thing. I'm just learning about the local culture.
Hmm,
Um,
I see. Uh,
and
let's say, how's Sammy doing? Have you seen him lately?
Oh yeah, no, we're adopted brothers.
I
Uh,
say I didn't know if you two both live here or it's just yeah.
no, like Sammy's got his own what do you call it? His own. Sorry, I'm getting a call.
Oh, you're fine.
Who is this? Oh, I can't answer this right now. All right,
All right.
I'll get to it in a bit.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, no, you're fine.
It's like no, Sammy's got his own like house of paint, so he lives in his like own spot in Toontown.
Oh, he lives in Toontown. Huh. Interesting. Maybe does he work anywhere in Toontown in particular?
Um, technically not. I guess you could say he's kind of a detective,
Oh, a detective. This
sort of.
sort of. Does he work? Is he a freelance or does he work for an agency?
I think it's more of a freelance thing, mostly with like kidnappings and stuff.
Hmm. Interesting. I'd say I only know one. Then I don't know much about detective work, though I have been seeing a little bit more of it. I have one friend, and you can almost say colleague right now, that is a detective.
Oh, yeah. Funnily enough, I do know a few detectives too. Not just not just Sammy. Sammy's actually the nephew of Lynn Stagehand, so
Yeah, Scribble immediately perks up at that, and so does Scratch. Oh, so both of you know Lynn then?
yeah, we've we've met and um I think she kind of likes Jeannie more than she likes me, but only by like a little bit. And this is clearly a joke.
Yeah, Scribble chuckles at that. Well, I can see why. Jeannie is pretty cute.
And you see Jeannie kind of like do like lift his head, and he does the like cat squint when they're like a little bit when they're pleased.
Nice.
And he goes, yeah, I've met Lynn, um and I'm acquaintances um with someone who does, I guess you could say, tangential work with an agency in UPA.
Hmm. Interesting. I only know Lynn myself, though. I never met him in person, but we our little family group. We have our own connections, and he's the he's a brother of someone I know, a Trini Ton.
And he Arata tilts his head and he goes, I don't think I know that, actually.
Well,
Wonder if Izumi does.
maybe. But unfortunately, the two brothers are not getting along well right now, so uh, hopefully it'll be cleared up.
Yeah, Arata kind of grimaces at that and he's just like, yeah, family can be rough sometimes.
Ugh, you can say that again. but
Uh,
but I'm glad to hear that you're again doing well.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was, um, I was kind of like, a bit more, and he kind of like, you see him tilt his head,
Mhm.
and one hand kind of like absent-mindedly fiddles with the fringe of his hair, and he goes, I
Mhm.
was actually a little bit like, I was wondering how you were doing after after what happened.
I mean, I I mean, it was definitely something. That was also partially the reason why I came over here to make sure you were doing okay, since I at least had your address.
I mean, he kind of just shrugs and gives you a smile that, even though it is light, there is a
Mhm.
bit of mischief behind it, and he says, "Nothing I can't handle."
Mm. Yeah, it definitely shook me for a little bit, but honestly, that's not half what we experience is not really. I mean, I wouldn't say as bad, but yeah, been definitely getting into some more bigger stuff lately that ugh. I'm not very sure I should discuss it just in case if people
And
are.
he Errata just kind of nods understandingly, and he um what does he do? He probably like slides you. I have this gag
Yeah.
where instead of like mints that like the rest like usual restaurants will have,
Yeah.
the last one in has chocolate coins. He like slides a few over to you.
Nice. Scribble smiles at that. Oh, thank you. He
Yeah.
takes one and pops it in his mouth. Though, speaking of that incident, apparently uh, we were glad to send someone over. I mean, not I didn't recognize anyone, but say reason why I was right here is like the professor, after what happened with Epsilon, apparently he made good on his promise to. Like, I don't want to get into too many details. It's really for the professor to tell, but let's just say Epsilon made a very lasting impression in his mind.
You see Arata kind of like pause, and he nods and he says, "That was kind of the same vibe I got the last time I saw the professor."
Yeah, it turned about be a little bit worse than we both originally thought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently everything is good now. It was fixed, but uh,
Well,
I don't know how. I didn't ask for details when I was with the other parents. We were having a meeting, but that's a different conversation. But he apparently some of his other colleagues and friends were pulled
yeah,
into his.
Seeker and
Oh, so do you know all about that?
yeah, Seeker and Amber, they're friends of ours. We got like our own little group.
I see. Yeah. So you know that they were pulled into his mind.
He kind of like nods. I'm gonna be honest, even though like I just re-listened to Occupied Minds, I cannot remember if
Mhm.
that was something the professor
Yeah,
uh
yeah. I say we can sort of say it is. It's just like I say I've been trying to catch up a little bit on that, but that was basically the summary that the professor gave him in character.
yeah. But like Arata just kind of nods and he says, I there's a lot I can say about what Epsilon did, but like I think it could just be summed up as the mind is sacred to ourselves, and be having that be trashed up in any way that can shake anybody up, even someone like the professor.
Scribbles nods. I agree there. Man, I'm hoping that. you'll probably agree with me that we should probably keep a little bit more of an eye on him, at least for a little bit.
And Arata nods. I think I may have made it a point to the professor that even if he tried to like brush our concern off, we're still going to be around anyway.
I'm glad you did. And hopefully we made also that impression when we were at the parent meeting.
Oh, you guys have a parent meeting?
Yeah, I'm not very sure if you know the other two, but a chicken named TOC and a skeleton tomb named Nebula Rose say,
Oh, TOC.
"Oh, good. You
Yeah.
know TOC, yeah." But oh, the four of us have a lot to children in common. One in particular being in Marigold, or at least for three of us. The professor, I mean, he may become an honorary parent after this, but we never. But we'll see how it goes. But we had a lot of children between us, and we want to keep each other up to date and hopefully keep a lookout on everyone.
And Errata kind of nods, but there's like a bit of hesitation as he does, and he kind of like kind of taps his fingers against the counter, and he says, I don't know. Do you, do you think it's a do you think it's a little too soon after everything Epsilon said about the professor's family?"
Honestly, maybe it is, but I mean, we say I I honestly don't know, but I don't want to exclude them mutually, you know?
Mm, yeah, the best idea is probably to just give him a choice, and if he chooses to stick around anyway, give him an easy.
You cut out
If
a little
it,
bit.
if oh, sorry. Let me.
You're fine.
He goes, I think maybe the best idea would be to like give him a choice, and even if he does decide to stick around, to give him an easy way out in case later on.
Mm-hmm. Scribbles nodded to this. Yeah, that is probably a good idea. And he just goes back to eating his curry for a little bit.
And he Arata kind of like pauses, and he looks thoughtful even as he like takes the last few bites of his own plate of curry,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, you're you're a wizard, right?
Yes.
You'd know a lot about you'd know a lot about like magic and stuff, right?
Oh, yes, it's my whole life. Though I've been focusing in on the low on the genius families, including my little Scratch here. And he looks towards Scratch, and Scratch turns yellow. I mean, Scratch himself is a new form of genius. Though instead of like a traditional naming sort of thing like Genius Loci or Genius Machina, he is a Una Magicae, since he is entirely made up of magic.
Huh. No, that's actually really cool.
Scribbles nod. Yeah, it's been fascinating being able we be say Scratch and I be able to test what he's capable of, and I gotta say I'm quite impressed already. We actually learned the last thing that we learned as of lately is that he can. There's a possibility in the long run he can power. Well, he can power magical objects, but just he needs breaks, or at least a lot of breaks as of right now.
Mm. And you see Arata kind of pause and like tilt his head curiously, and then just nods. Uh, and he seems to like catch himself, like he just remembered the reason why he brought it up, and he goes, yeah, sorry, I was asking because I've got kind of a weird question.
Oh, okay. What is it?
A bit of context. Someone I haven't seen in 2 years, um, recently, came back, and, when, um, when the professor cast, Identify on him, there was something weird that happened. Um, and Arata lifts a hand and scratches at the side of his chin, and he says, "Have you ever heard of a, I don't know, like a side effect on magic, uh, where where um where spells would cause microphone feedback kind of ringing?"
Microphone feedback. Um, no, not in not in that way. No. I mean, there are some spells that do linger on, and there are definitely curses could fall under the category of what you're telling me right now. But I don't know, to at least my knowledge, any that produce microphone feedback in particular.
Yeah, it's just it's weird because like when Identify was cast on him, it was only the person who was casting Identify who could hear it.
Hmm. I mean, it
And
I mean it that would make sense. Identify is a touch based spell, and so it would be only the person casting it to say that is not out of the normal, really.
yeah, it's hmm,
Hmm.
you see a pause, but it's more like he's trying to figure out how to word what he wants to say,
Mhm.
and also how much he should say.
Mhm.
But he's just all right. Let me
Was
ask another. Oh
I was
no,
about
continue.
to say no, no, sorry, but say was this person a magic user?
um, technically an arcane trickster, so like they only have
Hmm.
a limited amount of like stuff they could learn.
That makes sense. Yeah, but it does my next point of that thing that I at least maybe would think is if they were someone like a warlock or a paladin or a cleric, that it could be related to the powers of their god, but that's the only other thing I can think about.
No, no, this is. I don't think he would like that. um, no, like I said, he's an arcane trickster, so the only things he knows are illusions and enchant. But he's not as powerful as he was. But identify identify spell caught on to the remnants of some sort of necromancy. So
Hmm.
like I don't think
Necromancy.
it's not, yeah, it's not him, and it's not, and he's not, tied to some higher being. He would hate that. I can say that with confidence.
I see. I mean, the only thing I could possibly think of is this some sort of benign curse of some kind.
Arata kind of takes a deep breath at that, and then just kind of like casually reaches for his cup of coffee and like drinks from it.
Though I could be
There's
wrong.
a lot, yeah.
So you go?
There's a lot that could be said about the idea of it being a curse that like Arata does not want to get into.
Yeah, and Scribbles like, I mean, I could always be wrong since I've never met this person myself, but there is a I don't know, maybe I say I've been studying magic my life, though I'm definitely a jack of all trades sort of magician. Maybe you find a specialist of some kind.
Yeah. Um. He puts the cup down and he goes, I talked to someone who actually came through the inn the other day. She
Mm?
was somebody who was researching how to treat magical afflictions,
Hmm.
and she said something pretty similar. But she also brought up the idea that maybe it was like an unintended effect by whoever cast this on
Hmm.
because nobody was like hurt. Um, I mean, the worst that happened was that like the professor kind of just lost feeling in his fingertips for a little bit.
And Scribbles nods thoughtfully that. I mean, that could definitely be it too. But say someone would probably have to that at least has that's their area of expertise probably examine them to make sure.
Yeah, kind of like rubs a hand against his face, like he's just trying to think of like, oh goodness. Uh,
Yeah, Scribbles gently pats his back. But I would definitely be would what is it, if you ever need any research done, I am more than and willing that to help you out on this.
yeah. I thank you, thank you.
No problem.
It's uh, can you roll insight?
Yeah, I can roll insight. Let's see, Scribbles boy, what's your insight? Okay. Dang it, it's only a 12.
Uh, yeah. Errata does seem just like generally stressed about this. Like clearly this has been something he's been thinking about for a while now. Um, and like it's like he's trying to figure out where to go from here, but that's about all you can get. And
Yeah,
he does seem very appreciative that you are willing to help.
and Scribbles gives a small smile. But if you can, maybe a good starting point is contacting that other person that came through the inn, and if you know where to find them, and maybe that person and this person has this affliction, say meet up, and maybe that's a good start.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He's not really a people person, so yeah.
Mm. Scribbles nods and takes a sip of his coffee as he's already finished his plate. Yeah, say I can feel understand that, but say it's better to know what this is before. I don't want to say it could get worse, but you know, I you know, you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, no. I get it. I'm still gonna talk to him because only a few of us really know exactly what's been happening and stuff. But like, yeah.
Scribbles nods. I understand that.
Mm.
Let us say it's been. He looks at his coffee. I've been thrown into a lot of situations, including this Epsilon one, that it definitely was out of my comfort area. And though I know a lot of people have been on these adventures before and seen probably much worse than me, I am still. I can't always empathize, but I can at least try to lend an ear and listen and just being, just listening to people.
No, yeah. I get that. Like, at the end of the day, if you've got someone to listen to you about whatever's going on, that's it's the least someone can do, you know?
Yeah. And even though we don't know each other that well, I am more than say you seem like a very nice person, and I would definitely say if you ever want to talk about anything, I can always try to lend an ear.
And he kind of smiles and he says, "You know, that's funny. I'm usually the one saying that."
Well, even listening ears need someone to rant about too.
Yeah. And he kind of pauses and if your plate is done, he's going
Yeah.
to take it and move to start washing it and he says, "I mean, I am fine now. Um I tend to bounce back from these things pretty easily, but like this isn't the first time somebody claiming to be a god has tried to harass someone that I'm friends with. So it's just like I'm getting tired of it, you know?"
I mean, fair enough. I would probably be tired of it too. I mean, if we're gonna count Epsilon as a god, I've only met three gods in my lifetime as of right now: Epsilon, the dead god, and Chaos.
Oh, huh. Narada kind of like just has a like this goofy grin on his face. He says, "You got three. I meant four."
Ugh. I'll say. I mean, and here's the crazy thing: it's all a bit in this one year. Three gods in 1 year.
Okay, to be fair, I've been at this whole adventuring thing a lot longer than a year, so
Yeah, I mean, I've taken like I am technically still a college student. I'm nearing my senior year. I still haven't really chosen a major, but now that's going to be different once I get to the school again. But anyways, that's not the point of my I'm trying to make it. Is like, I mean, there's an adventuring guild at the college, and I picked up the random job every once in a while for some extra gold. But this is just I am not a full adventurer, or at least I wasn't until now, until recently. I feel like after meeting three gods, you're sort of becoming to an adventurer status, you know?
Yeah. Man, you've met three gods and traveled to a different plane. Uh, I'd say that's pretty solid adventure status.
Yeah. Travel with three gods, different planes, had to sneak onto a forbidden island. Yeah, I think I've been through the ringers for this year.
Oh man.
Ugh. But yeah, I say I again don't blame you for not just being upset about gods messing with your friends.
It's funny because the only god I know who has been decent, I haven't even like met directly. My brother's a cleric of Prismatone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I mean that I sort of see it with. I mean, I don't want to assume with the rainbow hair, or I didn't want to assume, but and I assumed he was a cleric because he had her symbol, but say
Yeah. Yeah. No, like it's funny because sometimes Sammy talks about Prismatone like she's a parent instead of like a a patron or a deity.
you know. That's not the craziest thing I've ever heard and or seen. He sips a
Yeah.
cup of coffee, remembering how basically TOC has basically told off the dead god multiple times. And how
Well,
chaos in one FPS just appeared out of nowhere and just rambled on about another god. So he gets that sort of like, yeah, look on his face.
and like this is like seeing this gets Arata like a little like stirred up and he just like keeps going and he says, "No, like the last couple of gods or god adjacents if we want to count Epsilon in there, I don't think they qualify as gods because they don't see their followers as like actual people.
Yeah,
Who would treat their followers like that? If you're a god, you gotta take care of the people who care about you too.
I know. I mean, I feel very similar about that. At least, I mean, I'm not religious really myself. I mean, I believe in the gods. I mean, I've seen multiple, but I
Mhm.
mean, I don't follow any particular god myself. Ironically, I've just studied how their connection to their patrons and stuff through their magic, which is a very interesting subject actually. But that you do not want me to get me ranting on that subject. But yeah, but I agree. It's like they're supposed to take care of them, similar to a parent.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what was it that it's like what Sammy told me like forever ago. The gods are supposed to be like people too.
Which I'm starting to believe that now. I'm really starting to believe that more. I honestly didn't think it really before, but now that I've met some gods myself, they really are just people.
Mm.
I mean, granted, very powerful people, but still, people. It's just sort of mind boggling in a way. I mean, it's just like I said, I've studied all this sort of magic, and gods are made out to be these mystical beings that are like higher than everyone else and knows better, but no, they're just people.
Yeah. And sometimes people can make the wrong choice. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do sometimes?
Yeah. And even if they mess up, I think a sign of a good god, like a good person, is basically just going to fix it and realizing that they did mess up.
And Arata nods at this.
So we're counting. So are we technically counting Epsilon as a god?
Arata just shrugs.
You know, again, that's what I've been thinking. Like, he says he's a god, but he's technically a mortal god, but does that technically really count?
You see Arata pause, and he goes, I mean, in the context of like creating an entire species, maybe the time czars and he shrugs think of him as a god or something, but like uh from what I've seen, he just seems like a dude on a power trip. um a dude on a power trip at worst, and at best somebody who could have been a brilliant scientist. um
Scribbles nods at that.
yeah, but like it's weird because sometimes when you are that powerful, it does get hard it does become harder to tell the difference between actual gods and fake gods and sort of gods. And
Mm-hmm. Scribbles
um
nods at this.
yeah, and the more Arata starts ranting about this, the more it's apparent that he has quite a bit of experience with it, because he did just tell you that he's met technically four gods.
Yeah, and Scribbles sips on his coffee as he lets him rant. He's like, it seemed like he needed it. And Scratch is like by Genie, and now they're sort of just like trying to get under Genie a little bit. It's just like curling up against them like a little
Yeah,
kitten.
Harada, Genie kind of like lifts a paw and like kind of like tucks Scratch under.
Yes, Scratch is yellow in happiness.
And there's a there's a bit of a pause, and Arata goes, it's hmm. At some point, I'm starting to wonder if the gods are just scared of me. Cause the only ones that I have met are the asshole kinds. And yeah.
Scribbles shrugs that. We'll never know for sure. You know, I may not be religious, but I kind of believe in the plot just because it's been screwing me over a lot lately.
Oh, Arata grimaces. It like reaches over and gives you a pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. It really hasn't. I say my daughter's in danger. Well, she's not totally in danger right now, but I'm just like, I mean, she's not in the most perfect situation. My girlfriend was thrown into a situation because of other stuff that is just not good. And I'm just sitting here trying to be the reasonable person and just keeping everyone together and just kind of calm, because I feel like if I'm not calm, no one can be calm, and it's just really sort of wearing down on me.
And like Arata like, continues patting your shoulder, and he goes, "Bro, I think you need to get out of Toontown for a bit. Take a goddamn vacation somewhere."
But here's the thing. I have something planned later for just doing registry for college stuff, but that's going to open a can of worms because that's in my hometown. And well, I'm not really good with my birth family right now, and I pissed off a lot of people in the past because I made a change for the better when I was for a year ago. I realized I was a jerk. I changed my ways, but that doesn't mean people are gonna forgive and let go. I am afraid of going back to my
Hey,
hometown.
Scribbles.
Yes.
Scribbles.
Mhm.
Scribbles. I need you to take a deep breath.
He takes in a slow, deep breath.
Look, I can't judge you for something you did before I met you. And if you said that you made a change for the better, I'll believe you. But from what I've seen, you are a good person. Even if you weren't back then, you've changed for the better. Whether or not people are going to forgive you for what you did back then, if they see you come back and they still think you're a jerk and they still treat you like one, that's. I mean, it's going to suck, yeah, but at least you know you got someone in your corner. A couple of people. I mean, you got me, you got the professor. Sounds like you got quite a bit of fellow parents with you.
Yeah, couple parents, and he smiles at that. And I'm
Yeah,
and I'm very grateful that all of you trust me and you got my back. It
yeah.
makes life a lot easier and a lot easier to go back.
The point is, whatever happens when you go back there, if they treat you badly, just remember that you got us, and we're seeing the efforts you're making.
And I thank you a lot for that. I'm not gonna lie in saying that I do at least want to try to make amends with my family, at least a little bit. But I know that it's not gonna come easy, and I am also sort of resigned to that they may never forgive me, but I hope they see that I am changed now.
And Arata just kind of shrugs and gives you an encouraging smile, and he says, "Hey, nobody can blame you for trying. In fact, I know a lot of people who wouldn't."
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was a lot off my chest.
Sound like you've been holding it in for a while.
Again, I've been trying to be the calm, level headed person for a while, and it has been building up a bit.
Hey, better here than, I don't know, out in the open, I guess.
Yeah, better here than out in the open. Oh, also, how much do I owe you for the curry?
Arata kind of looks at it and he says, well, he takes a moment and he like kind of looks at the plates that he's cleaning up. He's probably been washing the plates for a bit now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably took a step back to make sure you were all right and to talk to you. And then he kind of looks over at it and he goes, "You know what? It's on me."
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, come on. I think after that you kind of deserve it. And he's clearly like joking with you.
Yeah, Scribbles chuckles and smiles and gives a tiny blush. I wouldn't. Yeah, I had to agree there a little bit.
I don't mind. And if you don't tell owner, and it's nobody will know.
Don't worry, I'll keep my mouth shut. Though I do need to say, though I am excited about some other things, say because of my adventures, I found some new book. I found at least one new book. Say that I'm really happy about. Say has some. Say I'm trying my hand at making more sort of magical devices. lately is just say I'm actually finding a lot of joy in it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, say I got this book, well, actually one of my adventures that allowed me to create some pretty unique items that are actually technically only known by one culture, and I was very happy that they allowed me to have this book.
I'm gonna lie, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I say I already have one item from them. I didn't make it myself, but but allows me to basically teleport to the last place I took a sleep. Ugh. But if there's anything on your mind, I say I ranted. I had my little rant. If you want to talk about anything,
Arata kind of pauses and he tries to think. And he says, can I admit something to you?
go right ahead.
Alright, so you know how I said I've met 4 gods?
Mm.
Half of them aren't around anymore.
Oh.
Uh, yeah. Arata kind of like starts faltering, like he's trying to figure out how to break this to you in a way that can be considered gentle.
Mhm.
He's not doing a great job of it. And he just goes, they aren't around because when I tried to get them to stop, they wouldn't stop. And then, the only way to stop them was to make sure they aren't around.
Are you trying to say that you've killed gods?
I've killed 2.
Damn. It.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scribbles looks really impressed.
And like he nods and he says, yeah, that has definitely happened. Um but the thing I really want to like put out there is that when Epsilon was trying to talk us down, you know, when you knocked him out of the professor and he was trying to like goad us and whatever, trying to get us
Mhm.
angry. I think if he hadn't backed down when he did, I would have been fully prepared to try and take him out.
Scribbles gives a little nod. Can I admit something too?
Yeah.
So was I.
And Arata takes a deep breath and nods. And he says, on the one hand, I'm glad we didn't have to resort to that. Um, I'm actually kind of impressed that he actually stopped long enough to listen. Um, because not a lot of people who are as power crazed have done that. Um, at
Yes.
least my experience.
Scribbles nods at that and lets you continue.
And he kind of like takes a deep breath, but like, while I am glad that I didn't have to resort to that, I think I'm just really tired of, I don't know. It's like something in me was expecting to do it, you know?
Mm. It didn't sit right with you just leaving him there.
Yeah. I think I wanted to break it to Epsilon that he had fucked up badly, and I wanted him to see the error of his ways. But, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely a valiant effort, and unfortunately, it also comes to the fact that there are people in this world that, despite all the logic in the world, they will never see the errors of their way. And it's sad, but unfortunately true.
And Arata kind of nods, and he just goes, "Yeah, I've seen and heard a lot of people like that. Sometimes, man, it just sucks. I'm just
Oh,
gonna say it outright. It just
oh,
fucking sucks."
oh, you're not wrong at all. It does fucking suck. It sucks a lot because you definitely want to try to help people if you can and try to help them recover, but there's say and we should help them try to recover, but there are people that are just too far gone.
And traditional methods aren't going to help.
Yep.
No, I get it.
Scribbles nods. Yeah. And again, it just sucks.
There's probably a bit of a pause as Arata finishes cleaning the dishes and like puts them away. But at some point, he probably kind of like taps a finger against the counter again, and he goes, "Have you seen the news in Toontown?
Hmm? What
Like, do you,
news?
like the like newspapers
Oh, I read
past
the
couple days?
newspapers.
Did you hear about the spear rogues?"
I've heard. I've read over their articles. It's interesting to say the least. I don't follow them per se.
I don't know. Kind of wish something like that happened with Epsilon.
Oh, that would have been a treat to see for sure.
And I don't have anything else, so unless you want to
Yeah,
add,
yeah, I don't have anything else too.
so like as Arata is like making that joke, I think that is a good place to wrap it up.
Mhm.
And thank you, Winona, for joining me today and playing with me.
Yeah, say thank you for yeah, thank you for doing this. To say this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And thank you to our audience, both now listening live and in the future, who are paying attention to the recording. And with that, we are going to bid you a good time zone.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.